Welcome back to the You at Your Best podcast. I'm your host, Morgan. So for this week's episode, I want to talk about believing in yourself. But before I get into the episode, I want to talk about some new updates with my podcast. Well, just one new update. I have a Google form now where you can submit questions that you have, things that you need advice on. I have a section where you can suggest episode ideas, and I have it there for episode suggestions so that maybe my listeners can be more involved with my podcast and let me know what you guys would like to hear me talk about. And also because I want to, once I get enough questions, make a podcast episode answering those questions, kind of like having an advice section on my podcast. So if you want to ask any questions on there, it'll be linked in the description. It's also in my link tree. It's on my Instagram, both Instagrams. It's completely anonymous. You do not have to submit your email or anything. You can if you want to. You can put your name, but it's not required. So yeah, just use that if you have any questions, if you have anything you want me to talk about. I think that's it for updates. I can't think of anything else that I need to share. If there is anything else, I'll share it in the outro. So I want to start off by talking about why some people struggle to trust themselves. So most of the time, whenever someone struggles to trust themselves, it's usually because the way that they act isn't taken very well by the people in their lives. They weren't ever given the chance to be a child. They were kind of forced to be an adult early on. They weren't really allowed to mess up and learn from their mistakes. They had to always do the right thing. And all of that pressure kind of forces people to stop believing in themselves, stop trusting their intuition. It creates a lot of internalized self-doubt. In the past, whenever this was a really big issue for me, I would notice every little thing that I was doing whenever I was talking to people. I felt like I was getting it all wrong. I didn't give myself the chance to be authentic because I felt like I wasn't allowed to put myself out there because if I did, people would judge me. And because of that, I really struggled with social interactions. And I also really struggled to believe in myself whenever it came to my podcast and things that really matter to me. I struggled with trusting my intuition and listening to it. And I lacked confidence in my decisions, even small decisions, something as tiny as deciding if I was going to go out to eat or cook dinner. I felt so much shame and didn't trust myself over those tiny things. And it's kind of a survival mechanism because whenever people have been through trauma, it creates like a heightened sensitivity to everything else around us. And we start looking at things that we do from an outside view looking in, which is a good perspective, but it's not good whenever that's what's always happening. And it was almost as if we felt like we were so self-aware, but things never got better. We never grew. It felt like we were so self-aware that we were stuck. But it wasn't necessarily that we were self-aware. It was just that we were incredibly self-conscious and didn't believe in ourselves. I was listening to a podcast recently and a psychologist was talking about the 4 stages of self-awareness. And whenever we feel like we're so self-aware that it's causing depression and anxiety, we're actually stuck in stage 2. So he said that stage 1 is whenever you are doing something, but you're not consciously aware that it's happening. And he used the example of whenever you come home from work and you're overwhelmed, tired, and the kids are all over the place. So you just start yelling, but you're not aware that you're doing it. And then stage 2, your family tells you yell a lot whenever you come home from work. It's like you're aware that how you're acting is bad, but you don't know how to change it. So you just continue to act that way. And that's where a lot of people with shame stay stuck. But there are 2 more steps that we have to get to. Stage 3 is you are aware that it's happening, but you're consciously working to fix it. And then stage 4 is whenever you're subconsciously not acting like that. You aren't thinking about how you need to change it or how you need to act better. You are just acting better. For me, it felt like I was always stuck in between stage 2 and stage 3 because I would either know that I was doing something wrong, know that something needed to change, but I kept on acting that way because I didn't know where to start to change it. And then also stage 3, there were times where I would force myself not to act a certain way, but I would still feel shame. An example I can give is whenever someone tries to bring up something to you that you did that bothers them, that shame and self-hatred would still come up, but I would force myself to respond with trying to understand where they're coming from and validate their feelings. Even if I felt intense shame, I still forced myself to act in the way that I knew was correct. And that's kind of what happens whenever you have that intense shame and you don't really believe in yourself because of that. It's a trauma response. It's a traumatic thing. It's not something that's your fault. It's something that happened to you whenever you were younger and it forced you to start acting this way. It's a survival mechanism. It's just how our brains work. So this episode is very personal to me because believing in myself is something that I had to learn. And it's something that I'm still learning. I'm still understanding, but I've gotten to a point to where I know how I can believe in myself and I know that I can trust my gut. I know that what I have to say and what I have to contribute is important. Even if those scary, intrusive thoughts come up, I know how to handle them better. So this episode is for the people who really struggle with feeling like you were always ridiculed for being yourself. So I want to start off by talking about what believing in yourself looks like. A person who believes in themselves will trust their gut, trust their intuition. They will believe that they can do things that are hard. They'll have a growth mindset. They will trust that they know what they're talking about. They truly believe that they can achieve the results that they want. They trust that they will make it. They trust the process. They trust that it's not going to all come to them right away. They are confident in themselves. They understand what their goals are, their values. They understand what they want, what they don't want, and they focus on themselves and what they believe is the right choice for them. So the first thing that I talked about, trusting your gut. Intuition comes natural to all of us, but whenever a person has been traumatized or has learned to stop trusting themselves and stop believing in themselves, it starts to get to a point to where your intuition isn't really something that you even hear. And to me, I have realized that I can't just take the easy way out whenever it comes to learning to trust my intuition. I cannot just assume what my intuition is, especially whenever there are a million different voices and a million different choices that I could make. I have to journal. I have to write my thoughts out and keep on journaling until I understand what my intuition is trying to tell me. As someone who spent a lot of my life being forced out of trusting myself, I, a lot of the time, don't just get that intuition feeling right away, that thought right away of all knowing. And it happens sometimes, but there are some situations where I have to journal and keep on writing and keep on thinking until I get to that place to where I know what my intuition is telling me. Trusting your intuition doesn't just mean the first thought that comes into your head, that's what's going on. I think you can get to a place to where that can be true most of the time, but there are situations where you have to reflect and process and understand yourself better, because truth is, a lot of us, we are looking for knowledge. We are asking other people or going to podcasts or looking up to people because we are trying to figure out what to do. We are looking for someone else to tell us what the correct thing to do is. But all of the knowledge that we need is within us. We know the answer to every single question that we have. We just have to listen to ourselves, listen to our intuition, listen to what our higher selves are telling us. And that can mean you have to keep on coming back to something until you figure it out. We can't take the easy way out with trusting our intuition. We have to do the work. And that also leads to another thing that I have on here, which is trusting the process, trusting your journey, believing that you will achieve the results that you want. Trust the process of whatever situation, whether that's you have a job that you really want, but you're having a hard time believing that you can get that job. Trust the process of getting to that place, because truth is, where you're at right now, you could not be ready for that job, even if it's your dream job, even if you know that it's meant for you. Where your headspace is at right now, you may not be ready for it yet because you need to work on yourself and figure out what you need to do to better yourself before you can actually get that job instead of just rushing into things. I'm a very naturally impulsive person, so I've always been the type of person that just rushes into things without doing the work first. I've talked about in previous episodes how I literally all the time will talk about something before I even reflected on it. And I have learned that that's not what I want to do in my podcast. My goal with my podcast is to help people, not to help myself. So now I reflect and journal about something before I talk about it, and I share less personal things. But the whole process is that you build yourself and grow yourself before you can do that thing that you want to do so bad. And it's not a bad thing. Just because you're not ready for it right now doesn't mean that you won't ever be ready for it. And it doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't believe in yourself because you're never going to make it. It just means that you need to do a little bit extra work to get there, to get to that place. Whether that's journaling to understand what you need to do. Honestly, for me, ever since I started journaling, I have been journaling about everything, and it's so helpful. It's literally the best thing that you can do for yourself. You can do shadow work, like asking yourself a question, answering that question, and then just as you go on, making the questions more and more specific to your specific thing that you're worried about until you get to the part that's like why this thing happened to you or what you need to do to change it. What I do a lot is I literally just keep on writing, like whatever comes in my head, I just write it all down and I let my body do whatever it wants to do. Like I get in really weird poses sometimes because it's so freeing. Like in the moment, it's like this is the most authentic version of me, and it feels so healing knowing that I can still be that version of me whenever I'm by myself. But I have to be that version as much as I can through journaling and thinking and processing things so that whenever I'm around people, I can act in ways that are more socially acceptable while also being authentic, like having a balance. This is something that they talked about in that podcast episode that I talked about previously, having a balance between the super ego and I can't remember what it is now, but like your ego balancing out who you are authentically and what's socially acceptable. And something that you can really do whenever it comes to believing in yourself is manifesting. I know a lot of people don't believe in manifesting, but manifesting, in my mind, I feel like it is this magical thing, but you don't have to look at it that way. You can look at manifesting as just creating and achieving goals. Because in my mind, if we genuinely believe that we will have something, then it will come to us. But we have to put in the work for that to happen. Manifesting isn't this thing that is just like, oh, I'm going to believe that this is going to happen, and then it does. But we don't put any work in. Like, for example, I know I keep on using this example, but you have a dream job and you manifest that job. You genuinely believe that you're going to have it, but you don't learn the skills that you need to learn in order to be able to do that job, then you're not going to get it. Like if you want to be a doctor, but you don't go to college to be a doctor, you're not going to become a doctor just by manifesting that you're going to become a doctor. If that makes sense, like you have to put in the work to achieve the goals that you are manifesting. And manifestation is magical in a way that whenever we think about something and we truly believe that we're going to have something, there's an energy that brings that to us. Because like I said in a previous episode, whenever we believe that we're going to get something, we work hard towards that belief. We work hard to get the things that we want whenever we genuinely believe that they're going to come to us. So another example could be you want to be a parent, but where you're at right now, you're not really ready, you're not healed enough. Whenever you genuinely believe that you will become the best version of you that you can be in order to be a good parent to your future child, that right there, that manifestation of genuinely believing that will motivate you to do work on yourself. Whether that's listening to podcasts about the best parenting methods, understanding psychology, learning a little bit about childhood psychology, healing and growing yourself, you will naturally start to do those things because you genuinely believe that you will be a good parent. That's what happened to me whenever I was pregnant And also, before I was pregnant, I genuinely believed that I was meant to be a mom and that I would be a good mom. So whenever I found out that I was pregnant, even though it was accidental and I was not ready at the time, I prepared myself and got myself ready through listening to podcasts and understanding my trauma more. I didn't really do the trauma thing until recently. I just kind of learned the right thing to do, and I've been doing that even if I still have that shame and that trauma. I learned about how to be a good parent, the best parenting methods to raise resilient, kind kids who love themselves and don't grow up to be so traumatized that they have to unlearn what they were taught. I knew that I didn't want to be the type of parent where my kid had to unlearn what I did to her. So I acted in ways that I knew were correct, even though I still hadn't healed. So you can do that, and then while you're doing that, also healing at the same time. That's a really great thing for if you have an accidental pregnancy like I did and you feel like you're not ready and you still have so much to learn. And you can learn how to be a good parent first, just like stage 3 that I was talking about previously, and in your own time go through your traumas while still doing things right with your kid. And manifesting, that's a huge part of believing in yourself. If you manifest that you will have something, it's because you believe that you can. If you manifest that you can have your dream car, it's because you believe that you can have it. And again, there's work that you have to put into that to get your dream car. Maybe you have to take more hours at work. Maybe you have to learn how to drive first. But you still truly believe that you can have it because you believe in yourself. You believe that your goals will happen. You believe that what you want in life will come to you. You believe that you will have that huge mansion that you've always dreamed of. Or you will live in your dream city. You will live in your dream country. You will move to a different country if you want to. Believing in yourself means knowing that you can do literally anything that you want, but also understanding that you can't just be impulsive with it. You have to put in the work to get that dream, but you still genuinely believe it'll come, even if it takes a lot longer than you want it to. Like, you genuinely believe that you're going to move to a different country, but maybe it takes you 20 years to be able to do that. Maybe it takes you 40 years. Maybe you're retired before you get to do it, but you still believe that that will come to you, and you will have that, and you will be incredibly happy because of that. You can manifest happiness. If you're someone like me, I have dealt with a lot of depression throughout a lot of my life. It's very reoccurring for me, and I can manifest that I am a happier person and that my depression is gone. And of course, I'll deal with sad feelings. That's just a part of being human, but it won't be this intense depression. But although I genuinely believe that that will happen, I know that in order for that to happen, I have to do the work. I have to process and understand my traumas. I have to journal more. I have to listen to podcasts that are more inspiring and incorporate other people's positive talk to myself. I have to teach myself how to be more positive and uplifting towards myself and towards other people. Another thing is I used to be really socially anxious, but I have gotten to a point to where I genuinely believe that I am good at socializing. I genuinely believe that I know how to talk to people. I know how to connect with people. And because of that, I am connecting with people and talking to people and making friends. Whenever me, even a year ago, would have been shocked at the fact that I am able to make friends. That I trust myself enough to put myself out there and ask people if they want me to take pictures for them. Because I've been doing that a lot. Photography has just been something that I've been kind of getting into. I still use my phone, but I genuinely believed I can do that stuff. I genuinely believe in myself. It's scary putting yourself out there. It's scary for me taking pictures because they could hate the pictures that I take. That fear can come up, but I still believe in myself and I trust that I can do it. I trust that I can learn and better my skills. And I truly believe that I take good pictures, because I do. Pictures that I take are really cute. I take pictures of my baby. I took her first birthday pictures, and I genuinely believe that my photography is good. It may not be as good as other people's. I'm still a beginner, but I genuinely believe that it's good, and that's all that matters. Another example is I'm naturally the type of person that has no idea how to decorate, at all. I get overwhelmed whenever I think about it, but Ever since we moved into our new apartment 3 months ago, I've been telling myself that I can do this. I can make our apartment look cute. I can decorate it and make it look nice. And even though I had no idea what I was doing, I would go on Pinterest and look at things and save things. And I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos about interior design. I've learned how to stop overthinking it whenever I'm decorating and just do what I like without having all of the pressure of making it perfect. I've learned how to do all of that because I genuinely believed that I could. And that's what I mean whenever I say manifesting things. I manifested this new apartment that we have. I genuinely believed that we would find a better place, and that was at least 2 bedrooms, and we did. We did the work, we did what we had to do to get this new apartment, but we still have it because we genuinely believed that we would. And another thing that you can do when believing in yourself is to just fake it until you make it. It's okay to pretend like you believe in yourself whenever you actually don't. Tell yourself that you believe that you can have something even whenever you feel like you can't. Keep on saying it and reminding yourself and thinking about it and trying to believe it until you do. Like, you can manifest believing in yourself. Tell yourself that you genuinely do believe in yourself and you know that you do, even if you don't. And just keep on thinking about it. Keep on writing down that affirmation. Keep on journaling. Keep on growing. But through all of it, reminding yourself that you can do it. You can get to a place to where you believe in yourself. You can get to a place to where you have everything that you dream of. Everything that you want. Nothing is off limits. Okay, I want to talk about 2 more things before I end this episode. So first of all, with believing in yourself also comes understanding yourself. Understanding your values, what you want in life, you don't want in life, what you will allow from other people. Journaling about all of this stuff as a way to make you believe in yourself more, because a lot of us, we don't believe in ourselves because we don't actually know what we need to believe in. We don't actually know what we want in life because we don't know ourselves well enough. We're impulsively just diving into it. And that's why a lot of things don't work out for people, because we just do it without thinking. I did that with my podcast so many times, and it's the reason why in the past I ended up having to restart my podcast, because I just dove into it without reflecting, without understanding myself. I truly believed and knew that I could do it, but I didn't do the work of understanding myself and my values and the things that I want to share on my podcast versus the things that I don't want to share. I would overshare excessively on my podcast, and because of that, I had to restart it. So a huge part of believing in yourself is understanding yourself and doing the extra work, doing the behind the scenes work that you really don't feel like doing at least one thing every single day, even if you don't want to do it, that improves yourself, that puts you in a routine of taking care of yourself and understanding yourself before you do anything else. Okay, and then the last one that I want to talk about is to stop focusing so much on other people. We, a lot of the time, don't believe in ourselves because we're so scared of other people's opinions. We're so scared of how other people are going to respond if what we want to do is socially acceptable enough. And it's okay to do that to a certain extent, but whenever we do that to the extreme, we become so self-conscious and we don't believe that we can have anything that we want unless someone else believes it too. Like, we crave the validation of other people. We crave for them to tell us, like, you can do this, I believe in you. And that's the only way that we can really bring ourselves to do something. But you don't need other people believing in you to do something. Actually, other people's opinions, that should be the last thing that you listen to. You should listen to yourself, reflect first, before you listen to anyone else. Plan things out, plan what you want to do, how you want your life to look, and don't listen to what other people say, because the second we talk to other people about it and try to get other people's opinions, it's always going to be based on their wants and their experiences, and it's never really going to be based on our life. So talk to yourself first and don't focus so much on other people. If you want to do a specific job, but you know that the people in your life would disapprove of it, they want a specific thing for you, and the thing that they want for you is not what you want. What they say does not matter whenever it comes to your life. What other people want for you does not matter, because it's your life, and only you are living your life, meaning you have to be the one that's happy with it. not other people. We tend to crave the validation of other people so much that we are terrified of doing what we want, because what if they don't like it? What if they say something? What if they are disappointed in us? But it doesn't matter, because our life is our life. We have to do what we want, regardless of what other people say, regardless of what other people want for us. We are not robots. We can't just do whatever everyone else wants us to and be happy. You can, of course, do whatever everyone else wants you to. You can go out of your way to force yourself to be exactly what your parents want you to be, but you're never going to be happy doing that. And each individual person was put on this planet for us to be our individual selves. It's the reason why we're all so different, why we all have our own unique personalities and experiences. It all leads up to what was meant for us. And if you are forcing yourself to go to a job that you absolutely hate just because the people around you validate that job and respect you more for it, you're actually never going to be happy with that. You can try to convince yourself that you're happy. You can try to tell yourself that everything's fine, but truth is you're not happy. And you could be, of course, but if you're not, and you know deep down that you're not, trust that. Trust your intuition. Know that this job isn't for you, and do the work to figure out what you need to do the job that you want. And that could take time. That could mean that you have to remain at your current job because you need the money until you figure things out, and that's okay. But do the work of figuring things out. Don't just sit there and stay in something that's miserable just because you're scared. Believe that you can have everything that you want, even whenever it's hard, even whenever other people's opinions are terrifying and you don't want to disappoint anyone. Believe that you have what it takes to get your dream life. If you are living somewhere that you really don't want to live, but it's safe and it's comfortable, and it means you don't have to put yourself out there. You don't have to do things that cause anxiety, so you just stay. Something that I try really hard to do, and something that my psychologist and I have talked about, is I need to stop doing things just because I'm scared. I need to stop forcing myself to stay at home whenever I want to go out and go shopping just because I don't have someone with me and it makes me anxious. I need to force myself to get up, go shopping, even if I'm by myself, even if it's terrifying. I don't ever want to be on my deathbed thinking about all the things that I didn't do just because I was anxious. I want to be on my deathbed thinking about all of the things that I did, all the experiences that I had, all the fun that I had, everything that I did whenever I was younger. And I don't want to be thinking about how I sat at home doing absolutely nothing because I was terrified of going somewhere. I want to be thinking about how I went out and did things that were fun, went shopping by myself, went to concerts, went to places with my daughter and experienced things as a family, even whenever it's scary. Went on vacation, did things. I want to be thinking about the experiences that I had and not thinking about how much I regret that I didn't do anything and all I did was sit at home and never left, never enjoyed life, all because I was terrified. We need to believe that we can do what we want. We need to believe that we can have everything that we set our minds to, and we need to put the work in to do that. That's just a part of life, and yes, it's terrifying. Yes, it's one of the hardest things we will ever do, but it's so rewarding. So really think about that. What's something that you want, that you truly want? And I'm actually gonna give you a journal for this week's episode. Before I restarted my podcast, I used to give journal prompts at the end of every single episode, and I don't think I've done that in any of my episodes since I restarted. So think of one thing that you want really bad, but you're terrified of going for it, and write about it. Write about why you're so scared of it. Write about what will happen if you do it. Will it make you happy? Will it make you feel fulfilled? Will it give you an experience that helps you learn? Even if it's something that ends up maybe not working out, you still learn from that experience. You still got to experience something other than just sitting at home doing nothing. Write about it and then start planning how you can start doing that. If it's something that's big, like you want to move, start planning how you're going to move, like saving money or packing. Start looking at houses in the area that you want to move to. If you're wanting to buy something that you really like, something big, make a big purchase, start planning how you're going to do that. If you're wanting to go out and hang out with your friends, but it gives you a lot of anxiety going out, start planning coping mechanisms that you can use whenever you're starting to feel stressed or anxious. Start thinking about how fun it will be to enjoy yourself without anxiety. And just journal about all of it. Literally just write all of your thoughts down. Keep on writing until you figure everything out. Even if it takes you 3 hours. Even if it takes you days. I don't mean like days straight. Please take a break. But that's it for this week's episode. Just a reminder before we go, I have that Google form. If you have any questions that you want to ask, any advice that you need, please use it. Please don't feel scared to do it. I promise you it's completely anonymous. I do not know who you are, and it'll benefit me. It'll benefit my podcast. I can make episodes to help you out. So please ask the questions. The worst thing that can happen is I don't know how to fix your situation or how to answer your question, and that's literally fine. It's not like there's going to be that rejection because I don't even know who you are. I don't know who wrote the things unless you say your name, and if you do, that's totally fine too. But please use it, and please share my podcast. Please, if you heard anything in this episode that you resonated with or that you think will help someone else out, share it. Help me get my podcast out there. Help me get to more people so that I can help people out more. Share my podcast. Rate my podcast on Spotify and Apple. Leave me a review on Apple. That would be so amazing. I only have 11 rates on Spotify. I'd love to have more. So rate my podcast if you like it. Share it on your Instagram story. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with some random person that you don't know. Like, help me get out there. Help me help people in the same way that I hope I'm helping you. That's it for this week's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next Sunday.